What does it mean today? What does it mean to be a man in this world, and what does it mean to be a woman in this world? Away from all of the labels. Victim thinking and playing the victim is a wounded feminine trait. Today, men and women, right, all of us, and a lot of us don't know, but we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. None of us are void of that balance. It's like the yin and yang. And I think a lot of us get confused because we're not clear around what masculine and feminine energy is. So, to give example and clarity, the feminine in her essence is creative, she's in flow, sensuality, receptive, she's tender. But on the other side of that, the wounded aspects of the feminine, victim, playing as the victim, codependence, attachment, chaos, self-doubt, self-criticism, overindulging. Then you have the masculine side, and the masculine in his empowered place is independent, structured, organization, logic, consciousness, awareness, courageous, protection, versus the unhealthy parts, controlling, arrogant, selfish, lack of trust, guarded. But both men and women will experience either or all of these traits on both sides, regardless of gender. 2018, when I moved to New York City, I had left Australia and moved on the other side of the world following another codependent relationship that I was sure he was the one. This is it. We're gonna have the family in the penthouse in Manhattan. And this was like the 100th story I was convincing myself of. And getting there and quickly realizing, everything, it was like my whole life just crumbled in that moment, but from a place of like it was trying to shake me awake. Everything that was happening was for me, not to me. So the relationship broke down really quickly. As soon as I arrived, I lost like $80,000 on a property investment that I, thought was gonna give me the safety and security. In Australia, I was being pulled into a legal battle at like 22 years old, and I had just started my entrepreneurial journey, and they're like, you might have to declare bankruptcy, all in a week. All these things happen in a week. And in that moment, like I felt really like a shell of myself. And there was this breakthrough moment. I remember like having like my 2 suitcases with all my stuff. I sold everything in Australia. I had 2 suitcases of clothes and some belongings, and I was on Meserole Street in Brooklyn, like dragging the last pieces of myself and just like, what the fuck am I doing? And then it just started pouring down with rain, like the biggest fucking downpour of rain I've ever experienced. And I just burst into laughter. Like I was being in the victim now, in this like, oh my God, woe is me, life is awful, look at all these horrible things happening to me, am I ever gonna get out? And then it started raining, I was fucking losing it, laughing. I dropped my suitcases, I was cracking up. I literally put my arms up to the sky, said, God, universe, angels, like whoever that fuck is out there, take me, I'm yours. I'm not gonna play this victim game anymore. This is time for me to really take responsibility for my life, for me to be accountable for my own actions. This isn't about anyone else, I'm making the decisions. So this falls on me, not on anyone else. At that moment, like deep within me, I was like, it's not good enough. Alice, you're not living at your highest right now. You're not in integrity, you're not living at your highest. So I went on that journey for a few years, but continued to be humbled. Doing the work, being in the work, doing the inner child work, doing the shadow work, looking at my parents' patterns, looking at all the things that are passed down. I went on that journey. It's really tough. Like it takes a lot of courage to decide to be on that journey of commitment. You can do all the plant medicine ceremonies. You can read all the books. You can listen to all the podcasts. You can be in all the fucking inner shadow child healing work. But how do you show up in the day-to-day, in the conflict with your partner, in when maybe he or she walks out the door and that abandonment wound is triggered? How are you responding in those moments, in the nuances of life, right? Not in these big, profound epiphanies of, oh my gosh, yes, I realized that my mum had this codependency trait and now I can understand. It's like, no, then the embodiment of the work happens in all those in-between moments outside of that therapy space, outside of that plant healing ceremony, outside of listening to that podcast. Every single day I'm being shown by life that I'm in the practice of embodiment always, that's the integrity. And women and men, we're terrified to be there, but we don't even, I think, really realize it. So, understanding what is it to be a man in this world? What is it to be a woman? What does it mean today? What does it mean to be a man in this world? And what does it mean to be a woman in this world? Away from all of the labels, away from the systems, away from the history, away from the structures, away from to be a man, you have to hide your emotions and be strong and protect, and that's all you are. Be successful, driven, work your ass off. Or a woman to be the caregiver, to just be the good little girl. It's so complex, but finding the union, and that's where the restoration happens. That's where we can find oneness. That's where we find authenticity. That's where we find connection. That's where we find real empowerment. That we stop looking at those masculine traits as the man's job and the feminine traits as the woman's job. And recognizing the more imbalanced we see our life in all pillars, that's that inner masculine, inner feminine, like knocking on the door, anxiety, insomnia, depression, conflict. It's like knocking on the door like, hey, I'm ready. Like I want to be seen. I want to be understood. But that's a choice. It's a choice that we're deciding to block that, to resist that because of the heartbreak, the heartache. I've been hurt so many times. I didn't receive that love. I'm afraid of it. Having the privilege that I have every single day to witness women unfurl and unravel and their divinity, their softness, their encompassing and their acceptance of all their emotions. None too big, none too small, all of them just so beautiful to express and perfect. And then being able to be in space with men who come in with that title, that role, these roles that they're supposed to, they have to live up to. And if not, they're a failure. And then we get to, what does success really mean for you as a man in this world? And the core root that we end up getting to is it's the success that's so far removed from one that was defined by society or parents or systems or structures outside of themselves. Men are craving time away, time with no demand, time in nature, in connection to their heart, free of the do this, do that, role, responsibility, blah, blah, blah. And then when they find themselves in their space, I see the men soften and open and be vulnerable. I mean, that's for all of us, vulnerabilities. I mean, liberation, but also it's a journey. It's scary stuff, no? Who are we without all of the layers? Who are we without the people in our mind that we're trying to please or convince? In the past year of my life, I have never felt as consistently peaceful within myself. And I know that that has come from the daily commitment that I make to to really being in harmony with these inner energies and to listening to what they need. To the person who is finding themselves in the same situation over and over and over again and feels like there is no way out, I relate to you. I relate to you, I feel you, and I have been there. You have a way out. There is a way to put an end to the pattern. There is a way to break free and to feel freedom and liberation and peace, and to find a new way and to live a new way that honors this deep, beautiful connection with your inner world and your heart and creates new, empowering, loving, fulfilling relationships outside of you. You have a way out, but baby, it's a choice. It is a choice. And you are the only person in this world, in this life, that can make that choice for you. You are the only person that has the power to take that step and make that decision. No one else is coming to save you. You are the only person who can save yourself.